What up, guys? Your boy Quake back with a brand new episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast, number 317, powered by the one and only Golden Eagle Energy Drink. Get your Golden Eagle Energy Drinks at drinkgoldeneagle.com/DMP. That's drinkgoldeneagle.com/DMP. They sponsored all season 4 of the podcast, so show them love for showing us love. Now, let's get into immediately the news, and Diddy has filed an emergency motion to overturn the $100 million sexual assault lawsuit, which is hilarious because that prison mate got a huge come up. Diddy has filed an emergency motion to overturn the $100 million default judgment he was hit with for not responding to a sexual assault lawsuit from a Michigan inmate known for frequently filing civil suits. According to legal documents obtained by TMZ on Thursday, September 12th, the embattled music mogul said he was never served with the suit and that he not only had no idea who 51-year-old Derek Lee Cardello Smith is, he had no idea about the suit until he was hit with the default judgment earlier this week. His legal team also noted this man is a convicted felon and sexual predator who has been sentenced on 14 counts of sexual assault and kidnapping over the last 26 years. His resume now includes committing a fraud on the court from prison, as Mr. Combs has never heard of him, let alone been served with any lawsuit. Mr. Combs looks forward to having this judgment swiftly dismissed. They also said that even if Cardello Smith's claims were true, the statute of limitations expired in 2007. In addition to asking to vacate the judgment, Diddy's legal team is asking to dissolve a temporary restraining order and or preliminary injunction, which had been granted to Cardello Smith in August. In his initial filing, Cardello Smith claimed Diddy drugged and sexually assaulted him at a party he was working at in Detroit in 1997. He then filed a restraining order against Diddy in August to prevent him from selling assets that could be used to pay for the lawsuit. Cardello Smith also shared a log of his visitation record, which included Diddy's name and alleged he was offered $2.3 million to dismiss the lawsuit, but rejected it. Yeah, of course, an emergency motion to overturn. That is hilarious, man. We'll see what happens moving forward with this, but I think Diddy's gonna win it just because there's no proof or anything. Like, this guy's been locked up for such a long time that he was just basically trolling and seeing if he could win anything, and he got very, very close, man. Diddy's team is basically saying we never heard of this lawsuit, and they have a good point in that because Diddy's getting hit with so many lawsuits that I wouldn't be surprised if they lost track. Because how are you going to keep track of all these fucking lawsuits? It's really ridiculous. But Diddy pays his lawyers, I'm sure, astronomical amounts of money every year to make sure they're on top of this. So I'm sure Diddy got pissed off at some of the lawyers that probably missed this being filed a while ago. So, yeah, we'll see what happens moving forward. Speaking more of Diddy lawsuits, the lawsuit that we talked about in the previous podcast episode of Dawn Richard, who is one of the members of the Diddy-Dirty Money. There was two females, Dawn Richard and a different one, and Diddy. They were doing this group, Diddy-Dirty Money, with the song I'm Coming Home, that record, and Hello, Good Morning, and all these records that they were dropped like in, I want to say 2010, 2011, somewhere around there. Well, the second member speaks on the first member suing Diddy. So let's go over the article. Diddy's alleged abuses recounted by Dawn Richard in a lawsuit do not align with the memories of her former, yeah, they misspelled this whole article, of her former Diddy-Dirty Money groupmate, Kaylina Harper. Harper issued a statement on her Instagram story on Friday, September 13th regarding Richard's lawsuit, which mentions Harper numerous times and recounts events at which she was allegedly present, including a meeting at Diddy's home where, according to the suit, he choked Cassie and threw a scalding hot pan of eggs at her. Harper's statement says that of the suit that while I was present in some of the most professional settings mentioned, many of the allegations and incidents described in the suit are not representative of my experiences, and some do not align with my own truth. Elsewhere in the statement, she says, while I fully respect Dawn's right to recount her experiences, I want to emphasize that her account reflects her personal perspective and should not be interpreted as a universal truth applicable to everyone involved. Wow, let me actually go over the full thing here because, damn, she wrote a lot. She said this: I acknowledge the recent lawsuit filed by Dawn Richard in which my name has been mentioned 33 times. While I fully respect Don's right to recount experiences applicable anywhere, it's important to understand that while I was present in some of the professional settings mentioned, many allegations do not lie on my truth. Tony and I have always conducted ourselves with the highest level of professionalism and integrity. We were not involved in, nor were we aware of any behavior that could have been considered abusive or unlawful. As this matter is now part of ongoing legal process, I will refrain from discussing any specific details further. My focus continues to be on my family, my music, and my work, which I will pursue with the same dedication and positivity that have always guided me. I trust that the legal system will handle this case with the fairness and thoroughness it requires, and I support any process that seeks to uncover the truth. Interesting. I'm surprised, because she was the one that when these Diddy lawsuits first started happening, she was the one that was backing Diddy and basically saying Diddy's not this bad guy that everybody's saying. And then I don't know what she said after the video footage came out of Diddy putting his hands on Cassie at that hotel, that CNN dropped. But other than that, she's been pretty supportive of Diddy. So I don't know, man. It's interesting. Maybe she's scared of Diddy. Maybe she did have a different experience. I don't know, because her bandmate, I guess, is saying that they were there together at the same time. So maybe now two people can be in the same location at the same time and experience different things, right? But if it's only a few people in the room and it's just you guys are in the same exact room, it's very hard not to experience the same things. No, it's really impossible unless you're just drunk and you don't remember what the hell happened. Other than that, let's just say 4 people in the same room together, right? There's no way. If you're just in one room, same room, and you guys are having conversations, it's very hard to misinterpret what's going on. A lot of what she recounted was situations like that where, besides one, I think there was a party she mentioned. That's different. If there's a bunch of people at a party, she's going to have a different experience versus the other girl. That's just the reality situation. At a party, nobody's going to have the same experience. Besides, first off, it depends on how many people are in one room, and then it depends, what's going on at the situation. Is it a dinner table where everybody's at a dinner table, having conversations? More than likely, people are going to have the same experiences from the dinner tables for the most part. Or is it a party where everybody's intoxicated, doing drugs, just not knowing what the fuck's going on and moving around a lot? Different experiences at that point. But we'll see. I mean, she might end up joining her and, pursuing the lawsuit. I don't know, but she's backed Diddy for a while. So I don't know if that's going to change. It doesn't seem like it based on the statements. I'm sure police are going to go after her and be like, hey, do you have anything to add to this? Is this the truth? What was your experiences? And who knows if she'll say anything. We'll see moving forward what happens. 50 Cent. So if you guys don't remember, 50's ex-girlfriend Daphne Joy, who was mentioned in that Lil Rod Diddy lawsuit of being basically a prostitute to Diddy, basically, not really, but she was the one that was involved in a lot of stuff too. 50 ended up wanting custody of his kid and ended up suing her. Well, not suing her. He first filed for custody with his kid, Sire. And then she ended up releasing a statement saying that 50's been abusive to her and all this stuff. Then 50 filed a defamation lawsuit. Well, now it looks like 50 wants to drop that defamation lawsuit. In my eyes, what that means is they reconciled. They're good. She probably took back everything she said. She didn't mean it. 50 then said, you know what, I'm going to take back the defamation lawsuit and we'll move on, right? Let's go over the article. 50 Cent is withdrawing the $1 million defamation lawsuit he previously filed against his ex-girlfriend and the mother of his son, Daphne Joy. According to legal documents obtained by Hip Hop DX, on Wednesday, September 11th, Fifth asked the judge to dismiss the suit without prejudice. His request has not yet been finalized as of this writing, but that's likely just a matter of time. The G-Unit rapper filed the suit in May, blasting his ex for an Instagram post she made 2 months prior where she accused him of sexually and physically assaulting her. In his complaint, 50 claimed Joy's post was made in retaliation to her finding out that he was seeking sole custody of their son after she was accused of being one of Diddy's sex workers in producer Lil Rod's sexual assault lawsuit. 50 added the allegations severely damaged his business reputation and child custody case while opening him up to negative comments online. The rapper's lawyers reportedly sent a letter to Daphne Joy in early April demanding the removal of the post, but she refused. The request was apparently met with lawyers telling 50 to pay Joy millions of dollars and drop his custody suit, which he called clearly extortive. 50's legal team also released a statement dismissing allegations as false and malicious, while claiming Joy has misguided loyalty to Diddy. Despite given an ample opportunity to retract a false and malicious retaliatory accusation, Ms. Narvaez has shamefully chosen to interfere with her 11-year-old son's relationship with his loving father by falsely claiming him a rapist, the statement said. The motivation behind this appears to be Ms. Narvaez's unfortunate entanglement and misguided loyalty to Mr. Combs, who we believe to be underwriting this attack and whom Mr. Jackson has been warning Ms. Narvaez and others about for many years. Yeah, this is all just going over the history of it. But, yeah, he's probably dropping it because 50 just spent time with his kid for his birthday, I think like a week ago or something like that. And, they're probably doing, okay together. They're not having issues with each other probably, and she probably regretted, just randomly accusing him of doing things. And then he probably regretted, hey, having a defamation suit and just saying, hey, maybe we drop all this stuff and we just move forward. What's best for the child? And then he gets custody, she gets custody, blah, blah, blah. I think that's probably what they agreed to, but I don't know. Who knows? Maybe she does have stuff on him and 50's like, fuck, I might as well just pay her and not have this stuff come out. Who knows? I don't know. There was a while ago, not a lawsuit, but a situation where 50 with her had to deal with like him breaking his stuff at his house, and that was qualified as like domestic violence, and he had to do some community service. That all went like under the bridge. Like most people didn't know about that, but that happened back in like 2013, 2012. So, is there a potential that 50 could be doing something wrong to her? I don't know. There is. I like I said, I'm in the middle when it comes to these type of things because you don't know. Unless there's like solid evidence, even with Diddy, I was still in the middle with all the lawsuits happening. Now, with that many lawsuits happening, obviously where there's smoke, there's possibly fire. So I was leaning a little bit more towards Diddy being guilty because of all the lawsuits being filed. But I still was, for the most part, in the middle because, until there's proof, accusing someone of something this serious, there has to be some type of proof for anyone to believe it and just to run with it. So that's how I am with a lot of these situations. Lil Reese, right? I called him a Mr. Poopy Butthole scammer because that's what he is on the crypto thing. He still hasn't denied that. But with the whole female in the hotel of him getting accused of raping her, blah, 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 when, I didn't accuse him of it and I didn't deny it, or I didn't, confirm it, any of that stuff. But then when the report came out, she was lying. I reported on it and said, hey, she was lying. There you go. He never did anything. So that's, you got to be fair in these situations always. But people on the internet don't give a shit, man. Once something gets reported, they'll run with it. And the problem is negative news spreads a lot more and further than the positive, right? So all these outlets will report on the negative stuff. And then if the case gets dismissed or the person's not accused of it anymore or whatever, he clears his name, they'll barely report on it because good news doesn't get as much as a reaction as bad news. That's the sad world we live in. And I hope people change that. And I hope people stop. As a society, I was talking about this actually earlier today with a friend. As a society, if we stopped reacting to negative things and watching negative things, there'd be less negative things reported and less people doing bad things. But because we gravitate towards negative things, we react to negative things more, we enjoy violence, we enjoy all this stuff, that stuff happens. And then people get clicks and all this stuff and go viral and clout and all this stuff. So, but yeah, we'll see what happens moving forward when it comes to this. But I think it's pretty much over. I think they've moved on. And, they've had a great working relationship with the kid, too. I haven't really heard of anything where they've had issues publicly, at least. So, we'll see what happens moving forward. Kendrick Lamar dropped a new track. We don't know the title of it. Kendrick Lamar never really released the title. He just dropped this randomly on his Instagram page. The photo is black Air Forces, which we know as being, there's jokes online that, black Air Forces are people that don't give a fuck about taking people's lives, and they're the most reckless motherfuckers when they wear black Air Forces. White Air Forces are more, civilized people. That's the running joke online. And I'm sure Kendrick Lamar knows about it. That's why he used the black Air Forces, right? And this photo is from an eBay sale, actually, which is hilarious, which makes it even more funnier. And he dropped this track in the middle of the VMAs, the Video Music Awards that was happening. And it just kind of set off a storm. People were like, what the hell is this? Why did he drop a track? I can't wait to hear this. Is he sending shots at Drake? Is he this and that? I want to talk about the track, and I want to talk about some of the bars. Overall, for me, this track is Kendrick Lamar saying, I'm done. I'm done entertaining the bullshit. That's how I interpreted it. Everybody has their own interpretations. There are people who are saying this is a sneak diss at Drake, and this is, he's taunting Drake again. But what did Kendrick Lamar say? I think it was Euphoria. He says, what did he say, man? I can't remember word for word right now, man. It just slipped my mind. But he says, I'm not gonna be taking subliminal shots anymore. Like if I take shots at you, it's gonna be direct shots at you, right? And so I don't really see this as Kendrick Lamar taking a subliminal at him. I think if there's a clear Drake track going at Kendrick, then I think Kendrick will go directly at him. But there's been a lot of like speculation on if Drake is actually dissing Kendrick anymore. And that's the unfortunate thing. Now, whenever Drake or Kendrick drop a track and Drake talks about something that could allude to Kendrick, people are going to say it's about Kendrick. And then whenever Kendrick drops a track and says something that could allude to Drake, they'll say it's about Drake. So let's go over, this track, and I want to talk about some of the bars here. I'm Terrence Crawford, Terrence Forden. Yeah, I'm whooping feet. So he starts it out saying, I think it's time to watch the party die. This shit have gotten too wicked to apologize. It's different, getting whacked and disqualified. We even kill the killers because they taken innocent lives, burn a whole village. We start over. It's really that time. Just off the rip, I think, he's saying the party of entertaining beefs and ignorance. I think this is mainly a song about just the culture of hip hop and how the focus is just on ridiculous things and not about the craft of the music. That's how I interpreted really this whole song, but everybody has their own kind of interpretations. That's the thing about a lot of these, especially with this Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef, is when people are breaking down lyrics and videos and stuff, everybody has their own type of interpretation, unless you're just going straight off of Genius and what people have quoted on there. For the most part, everybody has their own interpretation. There's only a couple of lines where everybody can agree, okay, this is about this, and it's very clear. But for the most part, I'm saying like 80% is people's interpretation. That's all it is. So, when people say, like on my breakdown videos where I broke down, the Kendrick tracks and the Drake tracks, people in the comments be like, no, he meant this, but no, I took it as this. I'm like, bro, how I view it and how you view it is two totally different things, unfortunately. I wish artists were a little bit more direct, but that's the genius in it as well. That's the fun in it in hip-hop, where you have to guess what these bars mean, and do they mean this? Are they tied to this? So on and so forth. There's a part where he says, just walk that man down. That'll do everyone a solid. It's love, but tough love sometimes got to result in violence. This is where I think he was talking to Drake. Because he talked about walking him down, I think on Euphoria. And he basically said, everyone wanted me to walk this guy down. Walking him down means is basically just like sunning them, right? And just schooling them and all that stuff, and basically, owning them and, all that stuff, right? So when he in the song in Euphoria, he says, I'm going to walk him down, he felt he walked him down, did his thing, and then everybody wanted to see that, is what he's saying. He's saying that'll do everyone a solid, meaning everybody wanted to see that. Everybody was happy about that. And then he said, it's love, but tough love sometimes got to result in violence. So he's saying, I don't have these really, really hard feelings towards Drake where I hate this guy like that. But I just gave him tough love, and it resulted in a lot of vulgar and very direct shots at each other. Talking about family, wives, all this stuff. It got really, really down and dirty. So I think that's the part where he really kind of took, not really a shot, but just explained what happened with him with Drake, right? And then he said this, dirty Mac and bitches because your spirit is insecure. The flashy guy with nasty decisions, using money as a backbone. I want his head cracked before he's back home. This as well, you heard in Euphoria, you heard in 616 in LA, you heard in these tracks where Kendrick was going at Drake. You talk about you're very materialistic. All you care about is money. You don't have deeply rooted beliefs in things. You're not deeply layered. You're just this guy who just likes to mess with a bunch of women and just fucks off and just does whatever and gambles and all this stuff. We've heard of in the track. So you could say that this potentially could be referring to Drake, but I don't think it is, man. I think he's just talking about the culture in general, that a lot of artists just like to mess around with women, prostitutes, whatever, and they use that flashy lifestyle to hide their insecurities. Kevin Gates talks about this a lot. To a lot of credit to Kevin Gates. He says in a lot of interviews, he said, I used to, act tough. I used to wear all this jewelry. I used to do all this stuff just to hide my insecurities. That's the only reason I did it. And now he still wears jewelry here and there, but like back then it was a lot more. It was in his teeth. He took that out. He has regular teeth now. He had a bunch of chains, all that stuff. And, you know, a lot of artists in hip hop, they do admit that, hey, I do all this flashy stuff because I am insecure deep down inside about a lot of things. And this kind of takes that away. It distracts people from who I am really as a person. You know, so to me, I think he's just talking about hip hop and the industry in itself, the culture itself. I don't think he's directly going at Drake in this. And this is where I think he's going more at the music industry. He says this: I think it's time to watch the party die, street guys and the corporate guys, the rappers that report the lies. I need they families mortified. We can do life without them, get their bodies organized. Tell me if you obliged. So here he's saying, I'm tired of all these industry rappers that tell a bunch of lies to the audience. And then I'm tired of these street rappers that do all these insanely ridiculous stuff like dig up people from the grave and clown them and ops this and clown dead people. Like, he's just basically saying, you know, even the corporate people, basically the corporate people are obviously evil people as well. They just do evil behind closed doors and it's not as public. But he's just saying, I want all these guys out of here, from the dirty street rappers to the dirty corporate people. Get them the fuck out of here. So that's why I really think this track is mainly just about the industry, and saying watch the party die is actually a perfect kind of chorus on the track as a party with the VMAs is happening. And then this song also is kind of like a response to all the NFL Super Bowl backlash of people getting mad at Kendrick for doing this and that. And he's saying, you know, he's basically responding to all of them saying, man, you guys are hypocrites. You guys get mad about this type of stuff, but then you guys don't even realize that you guys are doing all kinds of vicious and disgusting things over here. People speculate that he takes shots at academics as well. And academics got really mad at it. And I was like, I responded to him just be quiet, you Twinkie smuggler, because that's what I call him. He's a Twinkie smuggler. I got respect for academics and a lot of things done, but he lost my respect, at least, when, you know, he started acting tough around women and putting his hands on women, and then having a woman get fucked at his crib, like raped practically, even though he had nothing. At least from what I've seen, he had, like, in the video footage or the photos that was released, he wasn't there in that video footage. But to have a woman get raped in your house, like, you got to move more diligent, man. You got to have more authority. You got to have more respect from your peers and the people you're around. If that shit happened, I'll be disgusted with myself if somehow I let that slide happen. If I had a house party and any male did anything to a female, I would beat his ass. I would beat the brakes out of him right there on spot. Pistol whip him, whatever the fuck I got to do. And I don't care if a lawsuit comes. I don't tolerate any of that shit. But yeah, academics, my kind of issue with him is he acts really tough towards women. And then when it comes to men, he'll act tough online and then, you know, never really goes out or does anything. So that's my kind of issue with academics. But then, you know, in this track, they're saying that Kendrick Lamar took shots at academics because academics is siding with Drake and always, you know, jumping back and forth. He says the radio personality pushing propaganda for salary. Let me know when they turn up as a casualty. Also, for what it's worth, Nipsey Hussle clowned academics, you know, before he passed. This was in 2018. And he didn't like academics at all. Because academics, you know, he'll push this propaganda and he'll encourage violence. He'll do all this stuff, but won't actually be outside with these artists and actually having proper conversations and stuff. And, you know, it's very hypocritical. Now, has he toned it down? Has he matured, academics? Hell yeah. He's done a lot better since he started, obviously, with the war in Chirac and stuff like that. Wholeheartedly, I agree. He's matured a lot, but he's got a lot more maturing to do, man. I think the stuff that he pushes, the narratives that he pushes, and the requests for violence is just corny. This is what Nipsey also said about academics back in 2018.
Everybody got some beef with academics.
I don't got beef with dude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call a spade, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And one thing I get personally offended by, bro, you got young kids that come from nothing, that change their family life, you know, that change their own life, that, you know, avoid death in jail through hip hop. So I don't like people playing with it. You know what I'm saying? I don't like, you know, I had an issue with Complex that I was very vocal about because I felt they was taking a bougie approach to artists. And we don't, my thing is like, you know, number one, only your parents could put their hands on you, right? Because they raised you,
right,
and they put the love in you. That's why only your parents. That's why you only respect an ass whooping from your mama or your daddy.
Right.
They did shit to balance that. Fed you, clothed you, taught you right from wrong. So you gonna take the discipline and the critique. So for me, it's like if you ain't come from hip hop culture, for real, if you don't come from where this thing started, if you don't come from the energy that created this thing, and that people are drawn to this thing because of, be careful how you critique this thing, bro. Because your opinion has not been validated.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
It hasn't been validated. So when I hear somebody like, dude, you know, saying things like for example, they said recently that 21 Savage said that he stopped buying jewelry and that he gonna spend his money on investing. You know, that's a powerful message.
It is. Absolutely.
For somebody that people follow and that's from a young generation. And academics criticized him. They said, I don't want to hear nothing but killing and I'm about to kill the ops. And I don't want to hear that from 21 Savage. That shit right there get you fucked up.
That's coon talk. That's coon talk.
And we supposed to fuck niggas up for that. Period.
Yeah.
We ain't supposed to be understanding. We supposed to catch you at Complex Con or wherever you at, and we supposed to spank you for that.
Yeah.
And you supposed to learn, I was wrong. We ain't supposed to do nothing you can't fix.
Yeah.
We ain't supposed to take the overboard. We supposed to fuck you up for that.
Yeah.
Because you're going to respect something, bro. You ain't going to play with niggas like that.
Yeah, so, you know, that's a perfect example. 21 Savage talks about selling his jewelry, and academics clowns and says, I don't want to hear shit like that from you. That's corny, right? That's the most corniest thing you could say. Obviously, this was in 2018, so I think, at least from what I've seen from academics, I don't watch his live streams, but what I've seen from academics is he has matured a lot more. Now, that should come with age. I would hope. The guy's in his like mid-30s by now, so I would hope he's matured a lot more. But back to the topic. Kendrick Lamar kind of goes at him and says, he should turn up as a casualty. At least people are speculating. He also says, if you parade in gluttony without giving truth to the youth, the graveyard is company. Influencers talk down because I'm not with the basic shit, but they don't hate me. They hate the man that I represent, the type of man that never dick ride because I want a favor. Round of applause, man. That's the thing, man. Same with me. I don't dick ride. I don't give a fuck whether a influencer like academics or whatever fucks with me or not. I could give two fucks, right? That to me never, the relationships in hip hop, content creation, and media, I don't really give two fucks about whether you fuck with me or not. You don't want to give me props for the work that I've done or not. Doesn't matter to me, right? I could give two fucks. Now, I know I started a lot of the shit that a lot of people are copying and pasting. I know that. But it is what it is, man. People are going to, do what they do, and it just is what it is. I have ideas. I mean, the ideas I have is like astronomical. I just don't have the budgets to do a lot of them. But once I get, certain things lined up correctly, then I'll be doing stuff that that I know nobody else is doing, right? Like I go back to this documentary because nobody's doing it. I'm about to reach 1 million views on it on the YouTube. Is the Give It a Try documentary? Who did an album track for track breakdown, took their hard-earned money, put a lot of money into it, by the way. This is not just $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000. I put a lot of money into it and dropped it on YouTube like it's a Netflix documentary. Come on, man. There's levels to this shit, and people can take styles of videos that I do and this and that, but they can never take what's in my brain. So I agree here with Kendrick. I've never dick ride or try to get on somebody's platform and say this, and I give props where it's due, and whether content creators want to fuck with me or not doesn't matter, man. I really don't give a fuck. Most of these content creators or influencers are corny as shit in real life. They're basically losers that just happen to get some type of clout or attention online, and that's it. What I like about it, though, is it does help a lot of people, in their situations, and they end up like doing something with their life that they love to do. But most of these people don't love what they're doing. They're just doing it for a quick buck, and then they're moving on. And I've been doing a lot of what I do for free for years. I mean, when I had the hip hop website back in 2008, 2009, I was doing that free for like 4 years. I didn't give a shit about getting paid. I just liked talking about hip hop. So I've been doing hip hop related content since 2008 as a kid. In 2008, how old was I? I was like 13 years old, 12, 13 years old. Yeah, about 13 years old in 2008. So I've been doing this since 13. I've been doing it more than half my life. I'm 29 now. So I've been doing it whether I got paid or not. Obviously now it's a business. I have employees. I got stuff that I have to take care of, bills. So I have to, get paid from it. But back then as a kid, bro, I didn't give a shit. I just did the content because I like to do it. And those are the ones that are going to stay and stick around. Not the people that copy and paste, the people that hop on trends and all this shit. They're going to eventually go away and they're just going to burn out because that's what happens. You burn out eventually like I did. I burned out at a certain point. But me, I transitioned into a different thing and then started maneuvering and, figuring out different things that work. And I like to do different, bigger projects. After the Get Rich one, eventually I'm going to stack up some money and do something bigger than that one. So it's just going to take me time. And yeah, I'm getting on a whole different rant here. But, continuing on, he might have, like I said, released a track because of the Super Bowl thing as well. But, most people don't know, man. Most people don't know what the track's about. It could just be about random shit that Kendrick's just feeling on his mind. I do know the second he dropped it, though, people were speculating, is this a diss at Drake and all that. But the two people that he did mention in the track by name, Lecrae and D1, reacted to the track, which was really cool. So in the verse, he says, sometimes I wonder what Lecrae would do. Fuck these guys up or show them what prayer do. And then he continues, I want to be empathetic, my heart like D1, but I would, and then omitting the sounds of threat against his enemy. So then he cut that off. So Lecrae posted and says, love you, Dot, always here. And then D1 said, I appreciate the shout out, brother, more than you'll ever know. A shift is happening. The time is now. Lecrae then also, who actually like Lecrae. He's more of like a Christian rapper, but I have a couple of his tracks on my phone. I'm a big fan of him. He dropped the white Air Forces cover and dropped his response track, which was interesting. Let's go over some of the bars here. The gospel track, blah, blah, blah. In the contracts to the beat up black Air Forces, Kendrick chose. Lecrae delivered his release alongside a pair of slightly worn white Air Force Ones. He also kicked off the verse with direct reference to Kendrick mention. I wonder what Lecrae would do. I wrestled like, should I write a verse? He raps. The culture got enough clout chasing vultures out here trying to prove they worth. They need attention. They can't imagine me not trying to make myself look bigger off of this Kendrick mention. Then throughout the 2-minute and 32-second song, Lecrae shares a number of details about his life, including a mention of Xanax addiction, his family ties to gang culture, and his less than Christian desire to seek revenge against the dealer who gave his cousin fentanyl. So, yeah, very cool response, man. I like the track. And just, great hip-hop discussion as well. So, yeah, check that track out. I don't think there's a title for this, too. He dropped it on Instagram as well. So just check up his Instagram, Lecrae. That's it. So, yeah, dope track overall, man. I think Kendrick's about the bars, and I think people that were not liking it are not really hip-hop heads. I am, so I can really enjoy boom bap to very lyrical stuff to party records. I like damn near everything in hip-hop besides Playboi Carti. That's the only guy I cannot fucking stand. Frenchy Vanilla as well. He's a horrible rapper. A$AP Rocky I'm not a fan of as well. Who else? Big Sean, I just can't get into his voice. And that's not even a diss at Big Sean. He's a great rapper. I just, voice-wise, I can't get into it. There's a few rappers that I'm not really a fan of. Now, William Roberts, I will clown Rose, right? But I do like his music. Like, I'm not going to cap and be like, he can't make good music. He makes very good music at times. Recently, has he? No, but he's got records here and there. Enough of me rambling on, but that's really it. Kendrick Lamar, Watch the Party Die. Check out the track. That's not the official title, but he never titled it because that's Kendrick Lamar style. So yeah, we'll keep our eyes posted and see if anything happens moving forward. Before we continue, I want to give a shout out to Golden Eagle for sponsoring this podcast. Yes, if it wasn't for Golden Eagle, this podcast wouldn't be possible. If you're looking for an energy drink that doesn't tear a hole in your pocket, Golden Eagle energy drink is the one you want to get. Golden Eagle has the smoothest taste with no aftertaste. You don't get acid reflux when you drink it, and you will save a lot of money. So check out Golden Eagle at drinkgoldeneagle.com/DMP. The link is in the description below. And how do you think this podcast would be possible without me having energy to do it? Come on, guys. You guys got to remember this. I need energy to do this stuff, man, because there's a lot of crazy topics. So look how smooth this thing sounds. Look at, oh my God, it's fresh. Look at that Golden Eagle. Look at the can. It's so beautiful too, man. Look at that. That's so fresh, man. So fresh. Golden Eagle energy drink. Go to the link description below. That's drinkgoldeneagle.com/DMP. Let's continue the episode. Lil Wayne broke his silence when it came to the Super Bowl halftime show, of course, with all the insane backlash, what we talked about on the previous podcast episode of Nicki Minaj responding, Juvenile, Drake, a bunch of people, Birdman even put his 2 cents in, and just everybody kind of reacting to the fact that, Lil Wayne didn't get the headline. It was Kendrick Lamar. Well, Lil Wayne responded, and I'm going to actually include 50 Cent's response to getting asked, what do you think of Lil Wayne performing?
First of all, I want to say forgive me for the delay. The delay on, just the delay. I want to say I had to get strength. I had to get strength enough to do this without breaking. I must say thank you. I must say thank you to every voice, every opinion, all the care, all the love and the support out there. Is your words turned into arms, and it held me up when I try to fall back. That hurt a lot. You know what I'm talking about? It hurt a whole lot. I blame myself for not being mentally prepared for a letdown. And for just automatically mentally putting myself in that position like somebody told me that was my position. So I blame myself for that. But I thought that was nothing, I thought that was nothing better than that spot and that stage and that platform in my city. And so it hurt. It hurt a whole lot. But y'all are fucking amazing. It made me feel like shit not getting this opportunity. And when I felt like shit, you guys reminded me that I ain't shit without y'all. And that's an amazing reality. So, like I said, it broke me, and I'm just trying to put me back together, but my God, have you all helped me. Thanks to all my peers, my friends, my family, my homies on sports television, everybody repping me. I really appreciate that. I really do. I feel like I let all of y'all down by not getting that opportunity. But I'm working on me, and I'm working. So, thank you.
What's your 2 cents on Kendrick Lamar doing the halftime show in New Orleans for the Super Bowl, especially knowing like Lil Weezy from New Orleans? I mean, that's big.
I mean, it was a choice. I think Kendrick deserves, as a solo artist right now, he's the guy. Yeah. But, having the game be in New Orleans, having it be played in New Orleans, that I can see why they got the Wayne. I think the way the last show was put together with me, Eminem, Dr. Dre, Kendrick was there then. Yeah. Kendrick and Mary J. Blige.
Yeah.
If
he could bring out P, Master P, Juvie.
Well, he should bring out the people that he featured on big records with, like
True
that.
that. But other people too, because I think the great thing about it is to see everybody perform together.
Yeah.
And the way Kendrick is bringing people together, even though it's a little beefing. So my question to you is, how you feel about the beefing?
I think it's good for the culture.
You
wouldn't have. They both Drake and Kendrick produce quality music faster because they would compete with each other. That competitive nature made them go work and have responses. So it's like, it keeps, like hip hop is still, it's not just a genre where you can just make a song and sit back. You got to make a song and be ready to make a song again, like right away, like with other artists.
To your point, I think iron sharpens iron. When you coming back and forward,
when we get the best.
Keep it on wax. I love when remember LL Cool J and Kumo D was going against each other. Yeah. That's the way you do it.
That's
strong
usually a highlight. Yeah. It's usually a highlight of you remember those moments.
Yeah, everybody will remember that one. Yeah. Last one for me. This is another hot one. It's a bonus hot one. You think Drake would do a Super Bowl? You think that he'll be invited to do a Super Bowl halftime?
You know what I don't think people realize? Yeah. You have to pay to do the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The artist has to pay, and then for it to be a good Super Bowl show, it has to be elaborate, so you got to spend a lot of money to make an exciting show.
There it is.
Breaking news. I didn't know that.
Yeah, tell them to pay for it. Tell the NFL to pay for it, and watch it's going to get a lot better.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, there you go.
First, shout out to Lil Wayne for addressing the situation. I think, if anything, this puts a battery in Lil Wayne's back to have another run potentially in music. I don't know how old Lil Wayne is. I think he's in his early 40s or mid 40s. Early 40s. So 41 years old. Still young, I think, to be in hip hop. How old is Drake? Drake is 37. Lil Wayne is literally like 4 years older than him. I know it seems not like that because Lil Wayne's been rapping since he was like fucking 14 and in the public eye since he was a kid, basically. So it doesn't seem like that, but Lil Wayne can 1,000,000% have another run. He's been having insane feature verses. I think the Carter 6 can be something really, really great. I hope what this did for Lil Wayne is put a battery in his back to prove to the world that he's still Lil Wayne. Because the funniest thing out of all of this is on social media, especially Twitter, I'm seeing Lil Wayne slander left and right. The reason why this is so funny to me is because in high school, I would fight for my life defending myself against Lil Wayne fans. And guess who I was defending myself? I was defending 50 and G-Unit. I remember in high school, this is in 2009 when I first started high school. 2009, Lil Wayne was the hottest shit, period. Carter 3 had dropped in 2008. 2009, he's doing the fucking rock album. Doesn't matter. Carter 4 is on the way. He's about to come. Everybody was a Lil Wayne stan. Everybody was on Lil Wayne's dick. I remember even in middle school in 8th grade. That's when the Carter 3 came out. And the funniest thing is when I would have arguments with people about this, and I know my hip-hop, and most people didn't. Most people would just talk about who's hot at the moment. One person said to me, "Oh, Lil Wayne's the first rapper to do 1,000,000 copies first week." I was like, you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. 50 Cent did it, and he did way more than 1,000,000 first week. He did 1,140,000. It wasn't in a week. It was like in 5 days. Eminem did it fucking twice in the first week. Eminem almost did 2 million. So when I showed them that, like, oh, I didn't know that. I'm like, yeah, because you don't know hip-hop. I know it. I knew this shit back when I was in 8th grade, 12, 13 years old, right? So I would argue all the time in high school, fighting for my life against these fucking Lil Wayne fans. So it's just funny. What am I talking about here? 14 years later, people have turned on Lil Wayne, are clowning him, or saying he's trash, he's washed up, he can't perform, blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, in 2009, 2010, 2011, I was literally fighting for my life, defending G-Unit and 50 Cent. Obviously, 50 Cent at that time was pretty much not relevant to people's eyes. I mean, he did at that time have that record with Jeremiah. That kind of saved me, the Down On Me record. People were rocking with that song. It was number, I think, 3 or 2 in the Billboard Hot 100. It was out there, right? So that kind of helped me. And then what really saved me, and if I ever land a Lloyd Banks interview, I want to say this, what really saved me in high school was Lloyd Banks dropping Beamer, Benz, and Bentley, and then just going on like that insane 2 to 3 year run he had. He dropped HFM 2, Cold Corner 2, Halloween Havocs, whatever mixtapes he was dropping and the tracks that he was dropping, everybody was fucking with them. And for me, it was saving me because I was like, see, like G-Unit is still dope. But everybody would clown me, man. It'd be like, yo, go wear some, G-Unit tank top and some jean shorts and go wear a do-rag or some shit. Get the hell up out of here with this shit. That's old school, man. That's 2005, 2003. So it's unfortunate that I had to, fight for all this shit just to see Lil Wayne slander. I, at the time, would shit on Lil Wayne because I was mad at all the fans he had at the time while I was defending 50 and G-Unit. But now, obviously, I got a way different respect for Lil Wayne. He is a legend, whether people want to admit it or not. I don't give a fuck. He forever changed the mixtape game as well. 50 took it to a certain level. Wayne took it to another level. Wayne was more of a rapper's rapper, so he had different types of styles. I think the 3 people that really did the mixtape game that I think are legends in the mixtape world in my eyes is 50, Lil Wayne, and Chameleonaire. And I know people are like, always get thrown off by Chameleonaire, but you go through his Mixtape Messiah series, 1 through 7, and somehow if you walk away from that saying Chameleonaire is trash and he shouldn't be on the mixtape list of some of the best mixtape artists ever, you need to clean your ears and you know what the fuck you're talking about. Go through the Mixtape Messiah series 1 through 7. If you've never listened to it, just do that for me and come back to me and tell me what you think. If you genuinely don't like it, then okay, I can be like, you know what? You went through the whole thing. I get it, whatever. I don't get it, honestly, but whatever. But what, like Chameleonaire, that run, I was just like, this guy is like fucking underrated. People view him as a riding dirty guy, blah, blah, blah. That's the one thing I hated. He had issues with the label. Ultimate Victory, his second album, no cussing on that bitch. I just cussed just to prove my point. No cussing on that album, and it's a classic to me. I love every single song on that album. And there's only a few albums that I like that. And these are the 4 so far. I don't think I have a 5th or 6th. I don't know. I always debate on albums. But these 4 albums to me, I don't use the word classic loosely. It's Get Rich or Die Trying. It's J. Cole's Born Sinner. Kevin Gates' Luca Brasi 3. And Chameleonaire Ultimate Victory. Now, I know that's the most random list. And I don't have everybody's favorites of Tupac, Biggie, Jay-Z, Nas, all this stuff. But those 4 albums to me, I don't know what it is. I love them, top to bottom, never skipped a track. Just love them. So the most recent one would be then Luca Brasi, Kevin Gates' Luca Brasi 3, which was released in 2018. So the earliest I got is obviously Get Rich or Die Trying in 2003. But I mean, there are albums that come very, very close. Like The Massacre is an album that comes really, really close. Eminem's Relapse. I could almost throw Eminem's Relapse in there. Eminem's Eminem Show. There are a few, I can't think off the top of my head, but there are a few albums that come really, really, really close. I mean, we're talking one track. Those 4 that I mentioned are like albums that I can listen to top to bottom, not skip a single song. That's why that's to me a classic. When you can listen to it top to bottom, not skip a single track, that's a 10 out of 10. That's perfection, right? But, if I'm skipping a track or 2, it's a 9.5 out of 10, which is very close. That's still an amazing, that is damn near a classic. So there's a lot of albums that have damn near classics to me. But classic to me is a 10 out of 10 where you don't skip a track. Anyways, I'm going on this whole rant. But, what 50 said is right. Kendrick deserves it as well. And Kendrick is not obligated to bring out New Orleans artists. He can bring out artists that he has hits with, and that's it. He's not obligated to do it. It's up to him on what he wants to do. It's his halftime show. And the funny thing is the artists have to pay for the halftime show. They only get the little exposure, quote unquote, and their songs get streamed, so they get maybe make a little bit of money off of it. But I'm excited, man. I'm excited for the Kendrick Lamar halftime show. I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. I am super excited. I don't care about the talks. But the interesting thing about the Super Bowl thing is that Drake apparently rejected the Super Bowl offer 2 times. Yes. So initially there was reports that I think it was Maul from Rory and Maul's podcast, said that, Drake rejected the Super Bowl multiple times. Then there was somebody from the NFL Super Bowl that was, quote unquote, a close source, said they never offered Drake the Super Bowl. Was he considered at one point? Yeah, but they were going through names, and then they just kind of, he was like a running up, like, hey, if we don't get The Weeknd, we'll go with Drake. That type of, that's what the source that was close to NFL said. But Elliott Wilson said that, no. I mean, he literally got offered it 2 times, and he said, no, I don't want to do it. So the first one was in 2020 in Miami, and then again the following year in Tampa. So that was in 2020 and 2021. Drake was offered the Super Bowl halftime show. And who did they get in 2020? They got Shakira and Jennifer Lopez, and then they got The Weeknd the following year. So let's play the clip.
Other thing I want to say is I had some intel. I thought Maul was capping. I thought he was lying about Drake turning down the Super Bowl.
He said Drake turned it down multiple times, right?
The sticky part about all of this is Drake has been offered this Super Bowl show for some years now and has turned it down. Probably 4 years he's been offered to perform at Super Bowl. Said no for whatever reason.
That sounded wild. It was like 4 times. Like, who turns down the Super Bowl that many times? Even Ack was like, how many times he turned it down? Why would he turn it down? I have an authority. My multiple sources have told me that Drake has indeed turned down the Super Bowl. He actually turned down the first 2, the one in Miami and The Weeknd won.
That was the first two that Jake took over.
Yeah. So Jay takes over, and again, his rival, whatever Drake, like you talk about all these history and this back and forth. I mean, these guys are all rivals with each other. They've had their good times and bad times with each other. But business-wise, Jay-Z wanted Drake on that Super Bowl stage, and he turned it down twice. So now years later, when an opportunity is asked of Kendrick, and Kendrick says yes, just is Jay not playing fair there? Like, should Drake feel a way about it when he's known himself? He's had opportunity to do it.
No, that affects it.
And he's turned it down.
That changes my opinion. Did you ask why he would have turned it down?
I don't know why, but he did turn it down. He was offered it twice, so justice for Maul.
Elliot's a huge fan of Jay-Z, but it's funny how he tries to say, oh, you shouldn't blame Jay-Z and blah, 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 because he got offered it right when Jay-Z took over. Well, here's the thing, right? You have close sources, people say, but I think Drake, if Drake got offered it, right, 2020, 2021, I think the only reason he would turn something like that down is because, one, you don't get paid for it, and two, what does it really do for Drake? Like, what's the benefit? Drake is from Canada. Yeah, in America, Super Bowl is huge, but outside of America, really nobody gives a fuck about the Super Bowl. The only reason people outside of America even know about the Super Bowl is because of this type of shit that's happening. And artists perform that are global, worldwide. But no, and here, this is coming from somebody that was born outside of America, that goes to Europe, that has experienced the culture, everything that comes from there, that has friends, cousins, whatever from there. I am wholeheartedly telling you right now, nobody gives two flying fucks about the Super Bowl. Right now, FIFA, the organization, decided to do a huge halftime performance and put money in marketing and really, really push it out there for people. They would do way more numbers than Super Bowl could ever fathom. That's just the reality. Soccer is way bigger than NFL football is here. Way bigger. And we only call it soccer here in America. It's actually called football around the globe. But, I think Drake probably turned down the Jay-Z because Jay-Z, maybe Drake and Jay-Z have had tensions. Maybe Drake is like, hey, Jay-Z tried to take me down at certain points and did some backhand stuff. So why would I go look out for Jay-Z and do a Super Bowl? That could be one of the reasons. So it had nothing to do with, Kendrick and this and that. That could just be something tensions that they had. But Jay-Z and, a lot of artists have had tensions with each other. That's just kind of the normal Jay-Z route because you never know what the fuck Jay-Z's, subliminally going at or what he's thinking, right? And, like 50 said, people don't get paid, man. Why would you, if you don't get paid, what more exposure does Drake need? Like, what is that? All the Super Bowl does is just add him to a list. Oh, he got to perform at the Super Bowl. He got to headline the Super Bowl. Really cool. It's more of an American experience. Like, if you're an American artist, you really want to do it. That's basically for the most part. Kendrick Lamar, obviously American artist. He would love to do it more. The Weeknd being Canadian, he's the one that did it. And then I'm sure there's other artists that came from different countries that did it. But, mainly American artists feel proud and want to do that show. For the most part, I don't think artists are sitting there and be like, damn, I wish I could perform at the Super Bowl, man. That would be a dream come true. Now, there's some artists that are doing that. Yeah, Lil Wayne, there's a perfect example. Lil Wayne wants to perform at the Super Bowl. But Lil Wayne is also a huge sports fan. He's a huge NFL fan. He's a huge NBA fan. He's literally on sports talk shows. He's a huge sports fan in general. So, of course, it means a lot to him. But, shout out to Drake, man. Big as the Super Bowl. He wasn't capping about that. That's probably why he said it in the track, because he knew he turned that shit down twice and that he's already big enough to, do the Super Bowl and it doesn't matter to him. Drake literally just posted like a promotion for like that steak sponsorship that he has. Seems like he's unbothered about the whole situation. But, hey, we'll see what happens moving forward. I'm excited for the Kendrick Lamar show. I don't know, what's going to happen. But, hey, Kendrick can put on a show, man. You look, what was that performance with Baby Keem? He has the family ties. I don't know if they're doing, if it's Kendrick's Mr. Morales tour or whatever. They fucking snapped on that shit. And Kendrick is just a showman. He's like an artist, not just like a rapper, blah, blah, blah. He's an artist. Like, he knows the craft and he respects it and he executes properly. So I'm excited for it, man. That's probably one of the best people to get it, especially off this insane run that he's had. I'm even more excited. I'm sure we're going to get an album soon as well because he's dropping these random tracks and we're going to get an album soon, man. I want that broccoli woke up in the baki, kaki, whatever the fuck that record is in the beginning of the Not Like Us. Drop it, Kendrick, damn it. I want that record. Tired of hearing the snippet on TikTok and all this shit. That's a fire track, man. It sounds like a new fucking, it's not really like, it sounds like a new fucking sound wave. I don't know. Some shit just sounds really good and I want that track. I don't know if it's called Broccoli, whatever the fuck. Broccoli, woke up, high key, back key. Shout out to that track, man, fire. But yeah, we'll keep our eyes posted, see what happens, anything moving forward. Continuing on, Eminem released his expanded Mourners edition of his album, The Death of Slim Shady. I was excited, right? I was excited for this album. I was ecstatic. I was like, dude, we're going to get, a lot of new tracks. There might be 50 and Dr. Dre on there, like we were promised, or that people were speculating. We really weren't promised. I can't put that blame on Eminem, but we were speculating that, hey, this and that. Alchemist is in the trailer. Maybe we're going to get Eminem and Alchemist on some beats. Blah, 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 blah. Then there comes out a leak of the track list. And the first leak was actually the most accurate one. Everything else that leaked after was just false, right? And this leak, all it was the 2 tracks that he initially released as bonus tracks. So if you pre-ordered the album, you got these 2 bonus tracks, which is Kyrie and Luka featuring 2 Chainz, and then Like My Shit featuring this like guy whose name I don't remember. But yeah, those are the 2 bonus tracks. Well, he dropped the Mourners edition. Those 2 bonus tracks were on there, and one quote-unquote new. It was the Fuel record remixed as a Shady edition with Shady artists Westside Boogie and Grip. That's it. That's all we got. Nothing more. I was pissed off. There were so many rumors and speculation on what was on the track list, to the point where, like, Christian, shout out to you. You tweet me a lot. Shout out to you. We have great conversations sometimes. He tweeted at me this bootleg-ass list, but it looks so official because it's on the Eminem like font and website. So somebody just like, altered it like they normally do. And it looked really real until I saw the feature on one of the tracks. I was like, nah, there's no way that this shit, there's no way. So first, shout out to Thomas. He's the first one that tweeted me a rumored list on Twitter, and it had number 20. It was a track called Invasion featuring Billie Eilish. Number 21, Julius Caesar featuring Westside Boogie and Grip. Number 22, Fleshlight featuring Tyler the Creator. Number 23, PS featuring J. Cole. And then number 24, Friday the 13th. That was like the initial rumored after the actual official track list, which was leaked on the website. Then there was this bullshit list, which was like fucking, man, I was like laughing. I was laughing like crazy on this. Let me see if I can find it. Man, if you don't get that bullshit out of my face. I can't find it. I think Christian deleted it because I quoted it with some like rude quote. It was just like a joke though. I don't, hopefully didn't take that seriously, Christian. I'd be trolling on Twitter a lot. But, he tweeted me this list that had like Britney Spears featured. And I was like, after I saw Britney Spears, I was like, get this bullshit out of my face, man. This is a bullshit ass list. It had like a bunch of features that look way too fan made. It had like Dr. Dre, Eminem, 50, and all the Shady Royce and all these people on the featured track. And it was called like Shady Onslaught. Like that's when it's a fan made list. Like when it has those like very insane features that just make no sense and the titles are very generic, like a Shady Onslaught, then it's fake. But all those bullshit lists, whatever. I'm disappointed. I kind of, when I heard expanded edition, once they use that, they're just gonna come with like whatever, 2 bonus tracks and maybe 1 new track. That's it. That's usually Eminem's expanded edition. If it said deluxe, then would have been looking at, potentially a whole second album. But that never happened. On the Fuel track, though, they all killed it, Westside Boogie, Grip. But Eminem, I got to give a huge round of applause to Eminem. I don't know what the fuck it is on this track. Maybe it's the production. Maybe it's the mix and mastering. Maybe it's Eminem himself. But he sounds so good on this track to where it reminded me of the Eminem show, like early 2000s Eminem, which we got some of that in this album, to be honest with you. Death of Slim Shady, we got some of that. But his voice, his cadence, his flow, his delivery was not really robotic. Like, recently Eminem, like through these past, 2013 till 2000 and basically till the Death of Slim Shady, he's had these like very robotic flows and like choppy and very yelly, aggressive. Eminem has always been yelling, right? I remember having this conversation with somebody on Twitter. Eminem has always been aggressive and yelling, but it was more like I don't know how to explain it. It was more like a controlled yelling. It wasn't anything where it sounded very like annoying. But Eminem reached a point where he was just yelling and punching these flows are choppy, robotic, and he was like yelling and it was annoying a lot of the times. I was like, damn, I can't listen to this. Forgive me if you feel offended with me saying this, but hey, I don't really give a fuck because this is how I feel. That Eminem and LL Cool J track, the way Eminem sounds on there, it just does not sound good. Like, I don't know, like that choppy flow, like I don't like it, right? Let me play a little bit of it just so I can show you guys kind of what the fuck I'm talking about. Like, dude, on Fuel, he sounds so good. It's aggressive, but it doesn't sound like nerdy, like technical. I don't know how to really word it. I wish I was a word fucking Smithsonian here. But that's why I never really was a writer, because honestly, I don't use like these perfect descriptions of things. But like on Fuel, it just sounds so good. I've been comparable to Ivan. Like, it just sounds good. I don't know what it is. Something about maybe the production, maybe just, it has to be Eminem's voice as well. Now, there's people saying that it might have been AI mixed with his earlier voice. I forget who it is. One of the engineers said no, it's just all Eminem doing his thing on the mic, which is crazy. But I wish Eminem, I hope Eminem does an album like that. Like the next album he drops sounds like that, because we got some of that in Death of Slim Shady. But really good, man. This was a great bonus track. I enjoy this track a lot. They all killed it. Eminem just snapped. He went in on Diddy as well. He said the Notorious B.I.G.'s death was the domino effects of Tupac's murder, like facial tissue. Whose clock should I clean next? Puffs till he's in police handcuffs. Guilty. Will he set up? Like G, never turn himself in. Who knows all the murders there's been? Or me next up. Prepare for me to not choose none of my words carefully. So he's sending more shots at Diddy, saying he wants to see him in handcuffs. And, smart wordplay, man. Like, you got to hear, like facial tissue, whose clock should I clean next? Puffs. So Kleenex, the brand for nose tissue. Puffs, the other brand, the competitor. Like, it's a great wordplay. And I like that he does that with Diddy. He really does that really well. He, plays on words and, sends shots at him in a really clever way. But yeah, I was just disappointed that there wasn't more tracks, but I was happy with that Fuel Shady edition bonus. I don't like the Kyrie and Luka track with 2 Chainz. I don't enjoy it at all. The Like My Shit record, it's all right. It's not bad. Yeah, that Fuel I really enjoyed. Shout out to Westside Boogie and Grip and Eminem for doing their thing. Production on it's crazy. Everything's perfect, especially Eminem, what he did with it. But yeah. Let's get into the new music. Speaking of new music, and let's see here. The Weeknd dropped Dancing in the Flames track. Eminem obviously dropped the Death of Slim Shady expanded edition. Babyface Ray dropped The Kid That Did album. Jhené Aiko dropped Sold Out, the 10th anniversary edition. Joey Badass and Chloe dropped Tell Me. Juice WRLD, The Pre-Party featuring Young Thug. The Alchemist of Schoolboy Q, Ferraris in the Rain as well. And IDK dropped 222. Shout out to IDK. Very underrated as well. Album sales, Sabrina Carpenter is at number 1 with Short and Sweet at 117,000. Post Malone is at number 2 with F1 Trillion at 72,000. Number 3 is Chappelle Roan, The Rise and Fall of Midwest Princess at 54,000. Number 4 is Morgan Wallen, One Thing at a Time at 51,000. Number 5 is Taylor Swift, The Tortured Poets Department at 51,000. Number 6 is Billie Eilish, Hit Me Hard and Soft at 45,000. Number 7 is Zach Bryan, The Great American Bar Scene at 38,000. Number 8 is Noah Khan, Stick Season at 36,000. Number 9 is Morgan Wallen, Dangerous Double Album at 31,000. And number 10 is David Gilmour, Luck and Strange at 29,000. Future Metro Boomin, We Don't Trust You at number 25 with 21,000. Drake For All the Dogs, number 34 with 17,000. Travis Scott, Utopia, number 35 with 17,000. Kendrick Lamar, Damn at number 39 with 16,000. LL Cool J debuted at number 40 with The Force at 16,000. That's not bad, man, for LL Cool J. Eminem is The Death of Slim Shady at number 41 with 16,000. Eminem Curtain Call is at number 45 with 16,000. And Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid, Mad City is at number 49 with 15,000. And that's it for today's episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast. Of course, powered by the one and only Golden Eagle Energy Drink. Get your Golden Eagle Energy Drinks at drink goldeneagle.com/DMP. They sponsored all season 4 of the podcast, so show them love for showing us love. Spotify, Deezer, Pocket Cast, YouTube, all that. Have an amazing night, day, whenever you listen to this, and peace.